we are going to be taking a look at the Georgia Bulldogs this upcoming season with a full season simulation. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future simulation videos. We're going to be doing a bunch more, but in this one today, we're going to be getting into Georgia's actual scheduled season and going to go ahead and simulate this thing. We got a lot of big games this upcoming season for the Georgia Bulldogs. We got Clemson to open up the season at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, neutral site noon kickoff game. And in this place right here, it is actually going to be Tennessee Tech, the actual team, but it is in the game FCS Southeast. They then go to Kentucky, have an open bye week, then they have a tough stretch going to Alabama. They are home against Auburn, home against Mississippi State, away at Texas, and then you've got the neutral site game, Florida-Georgia game, and then finish the season off tough with Ole Miss, Tennessee at home, away at Ole Miss. Then they've got a game against UMass, and then Georgia Tech to end the season before they get into potential playoff glory if their season goes strong. So we'll be going ahead and simulating through these games, and we'll be showing you guys not only the results but stat lines to give you a look into the future to see what the Georgia Bulldogs might actually do this upcoming season. So this will be really fun. Again, hit that like video if you guys enjoy this type of video. We'll be sure to bring you guys some more, but let's go ahead and get into this first one against Clemson. And I almost forgot, before actually getting into the game, we've got to show you guys some of their players. Carson Beck, starting quarterback, back for his redshirt senior season, going to be leading the way. Behind him, you've got Etienne Robinson II and Branson Robinson. They've got an absolute stable there. Behind them, in the wide receiver position, they've got Lovett, Bell, Thomas, Young, Humphreys, and you've even got Jackson in there. So absolutely stacked there at that position. You've got Delp at the tight end position, as well as Urosek at the 88 overall. Very nice for him. Taking a look at the defensive line, they are absolutely stacked with our boy Stackhouse, Nazir Stackhouse, and then you've got Jamal Jarrett behind him. Left outside linebacker, absolutely disgusting with Mikel Williams. You've got the middle linebacker position with Mondon Jr., Allen to back him up. Right outside linebacker position, you've got Walker. The corners, you've got Everett. You've got Humphrey, redshirt sophomore. You've got Harris. You've got Robinson as well, which will be absolutely insane corner room there. Free safety, you've got Starks, Malik Starks. Absolutely, what an absolute dog he is. Strong safety position, you've got Jackson, but that's the team. So let's go ahead and get into this first game against the Clemson Tigers. After a hard-fought game from the Clemson Tigers, they just fall to the Georgia Bulldogs 45-30 to end things out in game number 1 of the season. The Bulldogs getting off to a strong start, so we are on to try to get past FCS. You can see here a little bit dicier of a game between the Kentucky Wildcats and Georgia Bulldogs, as Kentucky are able to try to get a drive put together here, only down by 3 with going for the field goal. Will they be able to make it to tie this game up? Just under 2 minutes to go in this game, and they nail it. So it's 20-20 with the Bulldogs' chance to get things going in this one. And Georgia looking to get the first down to continue their drive. Carson Beck, all the time in the world, goes for the check down to his boy Etienne, who gets a big time first down. Clock is still running. Hard line. Georgia needs to get this thing going downfield with a minute left to try to complete a game-winning drive. On the run is the tight end. He's got enough speed and room to get the first down, and Kentucky are going to start using their timeouts now because there's blood in the water. Georgia can smell it, and it looks like they're lining up to try to run this thing out to kick the game-winning field goal. Georgia lining up for the game-winning field goal away from home, and he gets it. The Georgia Bulldogs are going to survive in Kentucky against the Wildcats. As we get the replay here, Georgia keeping their perfect season alive, go to 3-0, 1-0 in SEC play on the game-winning field goal, 23-20. 20 is your final score here in Game 3 of the season. So we will go ahead and continue on in our simulation here of the Georgia Bulldogs season. And I'm actually a little shocked about this one. No gameplay needed as Alabama take down the Georgia Bulldogs in an absolute rout. The Crimson Tide getting it done on home field. Jalen Milroe probably had himself a day, and he did so indeed. 3 touchdowns, 245 passing yards, 79.2% completion rating, and that will do it for the complete breakdown of the Georgia Bulldogs. You can see the breakdown of the Spock's score there. 10 points in the second quarter, 8 in the fourth quarter, 41-18 is your final score, and the perfect season is no more. We'll have to wait and see where the Georgia Bulldogs drop in the rankings. And you can see here just on this home screen right here, right now, the Georgia Bulldogs 3-1 on the season, dropped to 8th in the country. They are up next against Auburn at home and hopes to try to win a big SEC matchup here against the Tigers. And you can see here we've got ourselves a barn burner in Georgia. It is crazy stuff here, 31-28 with Auburn making their way downfield. Not on the Auburn Tigers side, but they've been driving down the field here against the Georgia Bulldogs with a chance to get the lead back in this game. And there's a break of a tackle. He gets past one and he's down to the 12-yard line. Is ticking, 1:13 left to go on the clock, and there's a big sack from the Georgia defense. Auburn technically only need a field goal to tie this thing up, but a big time play there from the Bulldogs defense as it is 3rd and 16. I don't think there's a timeout on the play. There could be an injury, but you can see the replay here. Big time sack, his second of the day, and that's exactly what the Bulldogs needed. For the Tigers, trying to get something going here. Georgia brings pressure into the end zone, is picked, and the Georgia Bulldogs will take a knee and surely see this thing out. What a terrible read there from the Auburn quarterback, and that is intercepted. 31-28 will most likely be the final in this one. Starting this drive on their own 36-yard line. They've got to chuck this thing downfield, but will Georgia bring the pressure? They can't get to the quarterback. It is nicely played there, but Auburn don't have any timeouts. So this drive is going to be in no huddle the whole rest of the way. They will clock it to stop the clock on their own 47, 29 seconds left, 31-28, Georgia Bulldogs. Auburn with a shot downfield, and it's deflected and picked, and that will indeed be the game. The Georgia defense comes up clutch in this one, and that is what you expect from a top team, a top caliber team, as the Georgia Bulldogs will kneel this thing out, getting a big top 25 victory in this season. Will take them to 4-1 on the season and surely get them up in the rankings as we continue on with the simulation. No true video needed in this thing as Georgia able to take down Mississippi State 47-13, your final score. An absolute drumming of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, getting them out of the picture, allowing Georgia to move to 5-1 on the season with a 3-1 record in the SEC. The biggest games of this season, you've got number 6 Georgia against number 12 Texas at Texas, and Georgia knocking on the door as ETN gets it all the way down to the 1-yard line, and Georgia with a chance to punch this thing in and take the lead in this tightly contested affair. Easy blocking up front, ETN in for the touchdown, and Georgia takes the lead in this massive SEC battle. Lining up for a field goal here with a chance to extend their lead. They've already hit one in this game after that touchdown, and there's another one to put the icing on the cake in this game. It's a little too late for the Texas Longhorns as the Bulldogs able to extend their lead 37-24 as they kick this thing away. Texas will try their best to make something happen. We're able to score, but they've got to recover the onside kick to have a chance in this game. It's not going to happen as they are out of timeouts, and the Georgia Bulldogs should be able to run this thing out. Let's take a look here and see. They are able to do so. They might have lost in Tuscaloosa, Alabama to the Crimson Tide, but they're able to come into Austin, Texas and find a way to beat the Longhorns in a tight affair, 37-31, 6 versus 12. That's a big time win for the Georgia Bulldogs as we continue on with the simulation. Was a close one here for the Georgia Bulldogs in the Florida-Georgia game. Going up against number 22 Florida Gators, they are able to win narrowly 40-37 as we continue on with this season. Just when I thought the game against Ole Miss was going to be an absolute battle, the Georgia Bulldogs came out and pummeled the Ole Miss Rebels. Final score being 38-12. You can see the breakdown there, 10-14-14, and Ole Miss only got their 12 points in the fourth quarter. The Bulldogs are starting to find a way and roll behind Carson Beck, and a solid performance away from home in Oxford, Mississippi, as this simulation continues on as the Bulldogs look to continue their dominance in the SEC in hopes to get a rematch against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Taking a look at the conference standings, the rematch against Alabama most likely isn't going to happen as the Texas A&M Aggies are leading the SEC with a 6-0 conference record. We've got a game coming up next against the struggling Tennessee Volunteers. We've got to hope we could put things to bed there, as currently in the top 25 we are sitting at third, where you can see the top 5 is pretty interesting. Michigan, Purdue, Georgia, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech. You've got Maryland at 7, Iowa State at 9, and you've even got Kentucky in there at 11, who gave us a good game at the start of the season. But let's go ahead and get into this game against Tennessee. Tennessee has fought back in this one to give the Bulldogs a game. 3 timeouts and only 17 seconds with the full length of the field. It looks like Georgia are going to find a way to play for overtime possibly, but we'll have to keep an eye out on this because 13 seconds left, 2nd and 3. Let's see if they're going to hand the ball off. They're not. They're going to chuck this downfield, and they're getting ever so closer to field goal range. They may have to try for it here with only a few seconds left. They're lining up for what seems to be a mile-long field goal. Let's see if he's got the leg. 7 seconds left, and this thing just short. And this thing's most likely going to overtime. For Tennessee, they're going to hand it off, trying to get that thing up the middle, and it's going to go to 3rd down as Tennessee now have to score. They're going to kick a field goal. Empty set for Imaliava and Tennessee. Ball to the end zone. It's picked by the Bulldogs. Is he going to be able to return it? He doesn't. But the Bulldogs only need a field goal now to stop the improbable comeback from Tennessee. And can they get the first down here? Running a little bit of motion there with the receiver. They're going to throw the ball here. Dangerous play. And Tennessee picks off the Bulldogs just when they didn't need it. That's huge for Tennessee. We've seen that before here in this overtime session. Will they make a mistake here again? Throwing the ball on 2nd down. It's picked again. Picked again by the Tennessee Volunteers. And they only need a field goal to win this game. Carson Beck is absolutely throwing for the Georgia Bulldogs. And they need to get some yardage to make this a little bit more manageable of a field goal attempt. He's actually going to hold on for the first down. That's even better for Tennessee. Not so great for the Bulldogs, and the slot receiver is wide open. No one's covering him, and they're bringing blitz. That's going to be it for Georgia. The game is over. Tennessee walk-off touchdown here in double overtime after the massive mistakes from Carson Beck throwing 2 picks in overtime could ruin the Bulldogs season and a chance for a playoff berth. And you can see that loss really did a hurting job to the Bulldogs. They are now down in 9th, still just barely in it with a chance to still make the playoff. Texas are 6-4 and are sitting in 6th. That's absolutely crazy, but that gives us hope that the Bulldogs can still make the playoffs with a game up next against UMass, who are ranked 25th. And unless there is a massive meltdown here from the Georgia Bulldogs, we are not going to actually take a look at any gameplay from this game. Just a bunch of simulation as Georgia able to take care of business, bouncing back 41-3 to beat UMass as they move on in this simulation. At this point, the only team that could truly derail the Georgia Bulldogs season would be the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and currently the Bulldogs are taking care of business. 31-14 is the current score at halftime, 38-17 near the end of the third quarter, 41-17, and the Bulldogs will be able to see this thing out even with the Yellow Jackets getting a few scores there at the end. 41-25 to end things out in the regular season is how things will end for the Bulldogs as they make a push to try to make the college football playoff. And the SEC championship are where the Georgia Bulldogs are going. It is 4 versus 5 going up against the Texas A&M Aggies. The winner will get a first round bye in the college football playoff 12-team format. So let's hop into this one and see if the Bulldogs can pull it out. And it took a weird way to get here, and we didn't even need any gameplay shown as Georgia absolutely dominate the Aggies 34-9 here in the SEC championship, guaranteeing the Georgia Bulldogs a spot in the college football playoff. Gunnar Stockton actually getting some playing time, and we'll take a look at the rosters and injury report because that's quite interesting. Carson Beck wasn't in there to play, so I'm wondering if he is injured, either got injured in this game or in previous games, but the Bulldogs will have a first round bye in the first ever 12-team college football playoff after the victory against the Aggies 34-9. You can see the injury report here. Not too sure when it happened, but a partial MCL tear from Carson Beck could derail the Georgia Bulldogs in their chance to win a national championship. You've got Mikael Williams, one of the best defensive players, had a fractured shoulder blade. Not too sure when that occurred, but he is a big miss. And I want to say it could be potentially their starting center has a partial ACL tear. So a lot of injuries that the Georgia Bulldogs are having to deal with as they enter the college football playoff. And here we are, guys. We have got a game going up against the Maryland Terrapins in the Fiesta for the college football playoff quarterfinal matchup, as we are the number 2 ranked team in the country. We will go ahead and actually take a look here at the college football playoff bracket to get a full appreciation of what we are actually working with here. Texas A&M actually dropping to Virginia Tech. You've got Purdue having dropped to Texas. Maryland beat Memphis. That would have been nice to have played Memphis. And then you've got NC State beating the Miami University. So you've got Oklahoma State, NC State, Clemson, Texas, Michigan, and Virginia Tech. Let's get into our matchup against the Terrapins. We didn't even need to simulate or show you guys any game tape of this one. 27-14 was kind of a bit of a stale fest there in the third and fourth quarter, as most of the points were scored in the first and second quarter of this game. Gunnar Stockton, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, and was player of the game to give the Georgia Bulldogs the Fiesta Bowl championship and a quarterfinal victory in this year's college football playoff, cementing our spot in the semifinals yet again as the Georgia Bulldogs. You can see the bracket now getting a little bit closer to the end. Virginia Tech beating Michigan 34-28, Clemson beating Texas 35-17, and you have Oklahoma State taking down NC State. A ton of ACC teams in it. You have 2 on the other side, a Big 12 team in Oklahoma State, and that is who we are going up against. We are the last remaining high 4 seed team left who had a first round bye remaining. Actually, I take that back. Oklahoma State is also there. So this is the best matchup out of the two. Let's go ahead and see if we can win the Capital One Orange Bowl with the Georgia Bulldogs. Oklahoma State needing to have a drive here, down 2. They only need a field goal here, 16-14, as they hit the check down route with under 2 minutes left to go in this game. Oklahoma State needing 4 yards to get the first down and a chance. Georgia brings pressure downfield. It is broken up. Big time play there by the defense, but Oklahoma State have to go for it. The field goal kicker, it's out of his range. Quarterback trying to get the first down. Georgia doesn't bring pressure, and the ball is broken up. Georgia should be able to win this game. That is huge for the Bulldogs. 16-14 is their lead. They need to get a first down or two because Oklahoma State still have a few timeouts in their bank. They have no timeouts. Are they going to go for a quick hitter first down out of bounds? They're going to go for it. It's not there, so they're going to have to go for the end zone here. They're going to have to go for broke. Oklahoma State on their last lifeline here against the Georgia Bulldogs. He's got a clean pocket. He's looking for the bomb. He's looking for someone to get open. It's broken up. And the Georgia Bulldogs have won the Capital One Orange Bowl and punching their ticket to yet again another national championship. And it's going to either be up against Virginia Tech and the Hokies or a rematch of the season starter against the Clemson Tigers. We'll have to wait and see here in just a moment. Well, folks, we started the season with this game and we are going to end with this one. At the end of this season, Georgia versus Clemson for the national championship. We took them down in game 1. Will the Bulldogs be able to do it again? Stay tuned to find out. We are about to see if the Bulldogs can reclaim and hold on to that national championship trophy. And where things started as well, the national championship or the first game of the season in Atlanta will end in Atlanta against the same team, the Georgia Bulldogs. Find a way throughout the season to get to this point to win another national championship. If you guys did enjoy this simulation, be sure to drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, as well as checking out a channel as we do a ton of NCAA 25 videos. The Georgia Bulldogs, national champions with a victory over the Clemson Tigers, 43-29. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button, but we will see you guys in the next celebration of college football. Hope you guys have a good one, and we will catch you in the next video.